Hi there. In this video, I will share a Costa Rican that grew up in Costa Rica, that is myself. And I'll share some words and phrases as I tell you these experiences of my childhood so that you can learn and or practice some Spanish. I grew up I was raised in a town called San Isidro del General, eh, in the canton of Pérez Celedón. And I want to tell you that I did not go to preschool. However, many people did, and they call it materno in Costa Rica, which is something like maternal. And but I didn't go to. And some kids, I was so curious that they didn't go to kindergarten, but they went straight to first grade in elementary school. Now let's do some phrases about this. Kindergarten, we usually call it el kinder. That's not that difficult, right? Just kinder. And elementary school is usually referred to as escuela. La escuela. And when I went to elementary school, cuando yo fui, that's when I went a la escuela, that's to elementary school. I had so much fun, and my brother and I moved to, well, the whole family moved to a new neighborhood called Calle Moya, and I'll tell you something interesting about that. But before I go there, I'm gonna go back from this time of kindergarten. Remember, jardín, not jardín. Jardín is garden, and kindergarten is referred to as kinder. Okay, so, and one day that my first times going to kindergarten, my mom, I really don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember that yo me vine caminando solo. That's, I started walking by myself. Me vine caminando solo toward back to the house. Hacia la casa. Or back to the house. De regreso a nuestra casa. And oh my goodness, by that time I was not surprised or impressed anything. I was just a kid doing, okay, I guess I have to go home. And my mom was so surprised. She made me on the way. Well, we didn't have a phone or anything, but she didn't, she didn't expect it, and I didn't know what the big deal was. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go back home. But looking back now that I'm in my 30s, I said, oh my goodness, I was so little, tan pequeñito, which is something that we say in Costa Rica when somebody is small or something is very small. Say pequeñito instead of the more broad term in many Latin American countries of pequeño, which is little. Okay, depending on the context, there's other words, but pequeñito is something we use in Costa Rica as well, as pequeño. So yeah, I came back home walking by myself. Yo empecé a caminar hacia la casa por mí mismo, by myself, por mí mismo. And that was an experience for my mom and for myself. Para mi mamá y para mí. For my mom and for myself. Para mi mamá y para mí. That's for me. So I'm not reading kind of like a script, but I do have some notes just to give me some ideas of what's next. I have everything here. Lo tengo todo aquí. I have everything here. Lo tengo todo aquí. So, okay. Now I mentioned something about Calle Moya. Do you remember the experience that I said, oh, I'm going to go back and then I'll tell you later. So this is when my family moved to a new neighborhood. My brother and I didn't have any friends in this new location. No teníamos amigos. No teníamos amigos. We didn't have friends in this new neighborhood, in this, en este nuevo barrio. That's barrio, neighborhood. Entonces, salimos de la casa. So we went out of the house. There were not many cars going through in this particular street. It was quite safe for the most part. And even when cars came back, they were very slow because it was like not paved. Now it's paved. Ahora está pavimentado. Now it's paved. Ahora está pavimentado. But not then. Pero no entonces. So my brother and I, mi hermano y yo, went out of the house. Salimos de la casa. And we just started playing with the kids. And empezamos a jugar con los niños del barrio. Remember? Barrio, neighborhood. Con los niños de the nuevo barrio. Y hicimos amigos muy pronto. At least I recall to be soon. Hicimos buenos amigos, pasamos tiempo con ellos jugando mucho. Y recuerdo que jugábamos, and I remember that we played something called, that here in the US people call it tap. Tap. Oh no, tag. Yeah, tag. And then you have to run, and when you give them the tag, they have to chase you. So, nosotros corríamos, and in Costa Rica, in my neighborhood, and I guess it's called like that, like this around the country, but just in case, in our location, we call it La Anda. So we played La Anda. And and we used to say, hey, let's play La Anda, which is let's play tag. So, you know how it starts, but once you touch the person, we would actually say it out loud. La Anda. And then we go like, oh, touch the person. La Anda. And then run. So you get the idea. I guess this game is similar if you ever played that. You know what I mean. Sorry. And I was just remembering how much fun we had playing this game, La Anda. So I do want to mention something about a membership that I am making with my wife, because we want people to be able to learn and to interact and observe and share, which means that the strength of this community is not the concept or intellectual part that comes from learning a language, which can be quite useful for understanding, making sense of the differences of the language. But it's going to be based on the connection. So when you come to practice, it's like you're learning, but you're not even thinking about it. You're actually having an experience of learning, supporting each other. And that's the idea, that people that are either thinking relocating to Costa Rica or have been living there or going back and forth from where they're from and they are learning Spanish, Costa Rican Spanish spoken in Costa Rica. They can think about their experiences with the locals and share. And it's kind of like how I learn English. For the most part, information for language, it's important and useful, but it is so much even more important to have experiences and just talk and ask and how do you say, and let me share this with you. And our brains are really programmed to learn in that way, and especially in a place where learn is welcome and questions are the good thing to do. So join us if you want to. You'll be seeing that in the comments and in the description. But to finish, I do want to ask you, what do you think about your experience? How? Oh, before I finish, let me share about lunch in Costa Rica. Lunch in Costa Rica, for many of you, you would notice, or have you noticed that for Costa Rican families is very important? At least where I'm from, in the south, Golfito, and then Paso Canoas, and then Pérez Celedón. My culture, when I grew up, lunch was such an important thing. You know, breakfast and dinner too, but lunch. And I personally grew up in a family that my parents were able to be around for the most part. And even when we were out, we would take our time to have lunch. It was like, let's have lunch. Eating outside, like to a restaurant, was something that happened sometimes, but my mom would do home cooked meals and we would have home cooked meals, but it wasn't like home cooked meal. It was just like eating. Let's eat. And that's how we did it. The different thing was going out, not the eating. The eating was not even a question. You didn't have a name. Eating at home, it was just like eating. Lunch, almuerzo, almuerzo. And so that's lunch. And I enjoyed it. My mom cooked delicious to me, and many friends that came from my friends, the friends of my brother, the friends of my father, were so delighted, and they expressed above and beyond gratitude about my mom's sharing their food, our food with them, and they many times came back, and they were always welcome. So siempre eran bienvenidos. They were always, ellos siempre were welcomed. Estaban bienvenidos. And so just so that you know, learning by the experience of connection, it's something I enjoy, and I hope you can get that experience here. So that's just something that I thought you might think was interesting about Costa Rica and the culture that I grew up with. And let me know what you think. Let me know what has been your experience. I know I'm making videos mostly for people wanting to come to Costa Rica, but we're on YouTube and everybody is welcome to watch. And I know some of you are watching because you're learning English. Están aprendiendo inglés, learning English. Some of you are Costa Ricans that are bilinguals and speak many different languages, or English and Spanish, español e inglés. But some of you are already bilingual and you're just, watching around, supporting me, which that supports me. I really appreciate it. But either way, please tell me, what's been your experience learning languages or learning Spanish specifically? My watchers that you watch videos, that I make videos for you for learning Spanish in Costa Rica. And let me know what would you like to see in the future, any other videos, and I appreciate you watching. Thank you. Bye bye. Gracias. Hasta luego. That's see you later. Hasta luego. Well, hasta luego, it's not like see you later. it can mean like that, but it's more like till later, uh, till later. But so see you can be like nos vemos. Anyway, please share, comment, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Gracias.